Good afternoon, my name is Sophia Wanuna. We're glad you're on www.ktn.tv. This is your news update, and 3,073 candidates will start for the 2014 Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education examination scored straight A's. This is an increase from last year's 2,722. However, the Education Cabinet Secretary Jacob Kaimenye lamented over the high number of students who have dropped out since Form 1, also raising concerns over the rate of cheating during examinations.
That the dropout rate of students in secondary schools still remains a challenge. During the year 2011, when the 2014 K.C.S.E examination cohort joined Form 1, a total of 521,601 students were admitted into our secondary schools. Out of these, 483,630 sat for the examinations in the year 2014, representing an overall wastage of 7.85%. From 3,812 candidates, that is 0.8%, in the year 2013 K.C.S.E examination to 2,975 candidates. That is 0.6% during the year 2014 exams. This represents 22% decrease in the number of candidates involved in examination irregularities. This is highly commendable. The number of examination centers again involved in the vice in 2014 stood at 2.2% compared with the 2.6% in 2013.
So with K.C.S.E candidates having to rely on the NEC website to get to know their results, schools in some counties are complaining that the website is unreliable. One such county is Mombasa, where schools can only get their students' results via SMS. So now Francis Ontomo, our coach reporter, is at the Aga Khan Secondary School and is joining us live. Francis, thanks for talking to us this afternoon. So the students there can only access their results through SMS?
Hello, that's right, Sophia. At Aga Khan here, High School, Mombasa, and it is a big hassle here for teachers and parents and even former candidates who are trying to access their exam as their results. And according to Mariam Lavinja, who is the school principal, she says that the online version appears not to be working right, and they have now resorted to sending text messages and receiving results of one after the other. And so far, we've managed to gather that out of the 37 text messages that they have sent so far as we are speaking, they've managed to realize that they have 18 airplanes, 14 minuses. And of course, the technology is not as efficient as they would have really expected. And of course, trying also to talk to the former candidates who excelled in the examinations. We've talked to Sukeina Ahmedajin and Umetia Munir, who both scored A grades. They are saying that they are happy, of course, beaming with joy for the results, but they are also raising reservations on the scrapping off of the ranking system, which is indeed a real concern across the country, Sophia.
All right, so but what is the mood like right now? Of course, you say it's a slow process as everyone just tries to send a text message and get their results. But what's the mood like? Are there many students gathering at the school? Are the teachers present? Paint for us a picture.
Yes, as indicated earlier, the day is slowly picking here at Aga Khan. Of course, the traditional color and glamour that is usually seen at these grounds, it's not seen here today. But then as the time goes by, we are seeing more parents and more former students coming to celebrate and others to learn of their results. And according to authorities here, they say by the end of the day, they'll have perhaps a bigger celebratory affair here for those who have excelled later on in the evening. But so far, things are slow, Sophia.
All right, well, thank you, Francis Ontomo, talking to us from Aga Khan High School in Mombasa County, expressing and explaining to us some of those challenges that they're experiencing there, students having to receive and get the results via SMS, and of course 450,000 candidates that are getting their results today. and what they're staring at is only 100,000 nearly opportunities available in university and middle colleges. So we'll be watching to see now transition going forward in as far as that story is concerned. But let's talk about another story that's developing right now. And officials of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission come to the house of alleged Anglo-leasing mastermind Deepak Kamani. And this comes just a day after the Director of Public Prosecutions, Keriako Tobiko, instructed the KC.S.E to charge 13 individuals and 3 companies over their involvement in the Anglo-leasing scandal. Our reporter Patrick Amimo is currently at Deepak Kamani's residence. Amimo, good afternoon. What's happening there so far?
Good afternoon, Sophia. It is detectives from the Anti-Corruption Agency personally camped at business Deepak Kamani's home in Loresho, trying to see whether they can access the compound and at least have him arrested over the Anglo-leasing scam. You see, businessman Deepak was one of the beneficiaries of some of the several lucrative contracts related to security, especially like one touching on these modernization of police equipment. There was something that some other contracts that touched on immigration security equipment, and that of constructing forensic laboratories for the CID. So apart from that, he also was through his company was to supply vehicles to the police department, the famous Mahindra vehicles from India, which according to records available, he only supplied 300 vehicles out of 900 that he was supposed to supply. So the officers are here trying to see whether they can access the compound. They checked in at 10 in the morning, and up to now, as I'm talking to you, the gate has not been opened. It's still barricaded. And at around 11:30, about 4 officers went back to, I think, to their offices, probably to get to know what they can do next, to maybe to be allowed to access the compound, whether by force or not.
Patrick, very briefly explain to us what the difficulty is, because there is a directive that has been given. Yesterday we had the DPP talking about some individuals would be arrested and arraigned in court. So you're saying that KC.S.E officials are there trying to gain entrance. Do they have an arrest warrant? What exactly is the difficulty? Do you know if Kamani is within the premises?
The whereabouts of Deepak is, I can't tell now, because we are also outside here with the officers. They've not been allowed to access inside the compound to ascertain whether he is inside or not.
Do they have an arrest warrant?
They don't have an arrest warrant so far, but they've just been trying to come back his gate to see whether they can be allowed inside. But the main entrance is locked, so they are outside and they've not been able to access the compound to confirm whether he's inside or not.
All right. Well, Patrick, thank you. Continue to follow that story for us. We'll continue to update our viewers, of course, on the developments as well as they come. That Anglo-leasing story and the suspects behind it as well, following the directives yesterday by the DPP that some individuals who were unnamed as of yesterday be arrested and arraigned in court over that over 1-decade saga that has been unfolding in the country. In other news, 5 members of one family were shot and wounded by armed gang members in Nairobi South B area. The gang is said to have struck at 3 a.m. Tuesday morning, started shooting randomly as the family struggled to block the kitchen door. The thugs, who made away with property of a known amount, are said to have poisoned the family's dog before proceeding into the premises. All 5 family members are admitted at Mater Hospital. Let's move on to another story, and 1 person was killed and several others injured during a rally in Kajiado constituency. According to reports, strong winds interrupted the gathering where Deputy President William Ruto was in attendance. While addressing the crowd, Ruto urged the electorate to support the Jubilee Alliance party candidate Patrick Tutui. Ruto also assured the residents of the government's commitment to boost security and end the cattle-rustling menace in the area. The Kajiado by-election is set for Monday the 16th and is expected to be a major political contest between CORD and JAP.
Atasikia maombi yetu. Rada mwili ambayo ilikuwekwa wakati ule. Ambapo wanatoka viongozi ambao wanaongoza kweli kweli. Msimamo kama kaunti yetu. Mmekubali jenerali awe waziri katika serikali ya Jubilee?
Mimi nasema shukurani kwa niaba ya rais kwamba mmekubali generali aungane na Jubilee ili tuweze kufanya kazi, na mjumbe wa hapa ambaye atafuata generali atakuwa mtu wa Jubilee.
Ningewaomba sisi wote tuingie ndani ya serikali, ama namna gani?
It's also the first time, as you've seen in that clip, that the Interior Cabinet Secretary and K.C.S.E campaigned publicly for Tutu. Definitely a race we'll be watching and covering for you. Now, the Nyeri County Authority has partnered with the Kenya School of Government in a joint project that will see more than 1,000 early childhood education teachers trained. During the official launch of the project, stakeholders said there was a need to bridge the gap and train more ECD teachers. So far, 800 ECD teachers have been trained. Sponsors of the project include the World Bank, Riara University, and Kenya Education Management Institute. There were concerns that early childhood education has been neglected since it was devolved to the county level, and those at the helm of education have decried the inadequate funding.
We are targeting this April to build the capacity of about 800 teachers.
In education, we say that you really must start with a proper foundation, because if the young people are trained at an early age, we look forward to a very fruitful, a very energetic and well-informed citizenry in many years to come.
We have all that experience of 40 years where we are providing very holistic education to children, and apart from just teaching, we are also providing all the other facilities that would require the children to grow in a very holistic manner.
In normal circumstances, the fund should follow the devolved functions, but in this case, for ECD, CDE, which is the most important function in a child, the funds were not devolved.
And finally, in business, edible oils and personal care products manufacturer Bidco Africa has announced that a lowering of the prices of its everyday consumer products effective this month. Bidco attributes this to lower production and operating costs emanating from cheaper power and fuel. The change in prices affects the recommended retail prices of popular units in the Bidco basket, including Golden Fry, Kimbo and Crispy brands, other Chipsy brands, I beg your pardon, in the oils and fats category, and in Safi, Kuku and Bull brand laundry bars soaps. Now, since last year, Bidco has reduced the prices of its products by 4% and 26% in a move that is expected to lower the cost of living for the consumer. The manufacturer is also applauding government-led efforts to lower the cost of doing business and that of living, and anticipates that this year inflation will be controlled. The government has been on a quest to lower energy costs, which it argues will lead to cheaper costs of living. And that's your news update at this hour. Thank you for watching. I'm Sophia Wanuna. Stay with KTN Kenya.tv. Also follow all our social media platforms on Facebook, on Twitter as well, for up-to-minute updates throughout the day. Have a good afternoon.